Thank you, and welcome to you all for this session. I know it's hard to keep yourself active 2-3 days into an event, so I appreciate you being here. I think also, like I was saying earlier, it's good that in some ways that it's the last session because only the most serious people are here in this conversation, and that's sort of how we like it. Because what I'm going to talk about is something very, very different from what you've seen or heard at this event or at other events. It's something very new, but it's a very, very important construct, very important concept, and we have some very exciting data behind it that I can share with you all a little bit after this presentation. I've also been asked to remind you to fill out a feedback form for this and every other session that you're attending. And as a carrot for that, there are going to be 5 VIP passes drawn from all of the feedback that everybody's providing. So a reminder to do that. So the discussion, the topic really of this conversation is, and whether you're an affiliate, you're an advertiser, you're a solution provider, there are many, many, many things that we're all doing to try to, do something different, do something interesting in the world of digital media and monetization. So what I'm here to talk about is a completely different way to do it, unlike anything else you're seeing out there. So the results that we have to share that I'm going to get into are nothing short of revolutionary. And that's why we think it's something really interesting, really important for the industry to get its arms around. So the premise here is, again, many of us are involved in various forms of advertising, but the advertising industry itself is crumbling. And we try to dance around the fact that, okay, well, we can eke out a living here, you can do this, you can do that, you can target a little bit better. But at the end of the day, the state of affairs in advertising is really bad. So the whole edifice, the whole mansion that we've built in the industry has severe strains and severe indications of failure. So how bad is it? And you've probably all seen some of these same stats, but it's helpful to take a minute to understand what these stats really mean. So the average click-through rate of a display ad now is 0.06%. And I'll put that in perspective in terms of what that means. So if you're an affiliate, if you're an advertiser, and you're taking advantage of display ads, and yes, it's performance marketing and campaigns and targeting and so on and so forth, but at the end of the day, it's display ads. That's how bad the average click-through rate is across the internet. 50% of clicks on mobile ads, which is where all the traffic is going, are accidental. Just think about what that means. We're all building businesses, we're building business cases on a model where half the monetization is by accident. So once the accidents are ferreted out, that model really crumbles. That's a really, really bad situation that it's low enough to begin with, but half of it is by accident. 33% of internet users find display ads completely intolerable. So it isn't like mildly irritating, it's completely intolerable. So again, the state of affairs in the industry that we all live off of are really, really challenged. So to put this in perspective, what does it mean? Like, how do you make sense of what does it mean to be 0.06% CTR? So a little bit further back, when CTRs were a very healthy 0.09%, that's how bad CTRs were. That's what that meant. So if you go through some of those, you're far more likely to win a prize in Mega Millions. You're far more likely to give birth to twins. 87 times more likely to get into Harvard. 475 times more likely to survive a plane crash. That's what it means to be that low CTR. So, again, there are significant challenges in the industry that, we as a whole are going through. So, just a funny clip we found on this that ideally should have been integrated on here, but for AV reasons isn't. I'm just going to play it for a second. So take a look.
Ads couldn't be avoided, but everyone knew what was an ad and what wasn't. After many years, mankind invented cable, a way to pay for television so there would be no ads. But somehow, the ads still found a way. And so mankind invented TV.
Oops.
A way to skip past commercials. Finally, it appeared to be the end of ads. And everywhere, people rejoiced. The ads were stopped, or so it seemed. With the rise of the internet, suddenly the ads had an entirely new way to attack us. Pop-ups. The top scientific minds were brought together to find a way to stop the ads once and for all. They invented the ad blocker. Suddenly there were no ads on phones, on computers, and everywhere. People rejoiced. But the ads adapted. They became smarter. They disguised themselves as news. All around the world, people read news stories, completely unaware they were reading ads. And now, the ads have taken the next step in their evolution. They have taken human form. Ads are among us. They could be your friend, your gardener. The ads are trying to wipe us out. The question is, how?
So, obviously a little dramatic, sort of satire, but, in terms of the state of the industry when it comes to advertising, the consumer trust is really at a low. So, all right. So, lots of consumer issues. And again, the thing to understand about this is that's the foundation that we're all monetizing off of. And if that's what the consumer interface is, it's a very, very risky place to be basing our business. So then you look at search ads and say, well, what about search ads? That's a great option. I mean, we're all taking advantage of search ads. So what is the problem with search ads? The issue is that if you look at the core site itself, Google and search engines are no longer the number one place you all and we all and consumers are searching for things to buy. So in 2015, Amazon was already ahead of all the search engines put together as the number one place people search for things to buy. And in 2016, that lead has expanded. So in other words, the search experience is not the best experience for commerce. So again, if you stop to think about that, we're trying to monetize with display ads, which we already just saw how bad the experience is, how bad the results are. And then we're trying to monetize through search ads. This is the core search experience is not a great experience for commerce. Hence, not a great experience for monetization. Why is it a big deal that it's not a great experience for commerce? Because the money is in commerce. Ultimately, if somebody isn't making money at the end of the food chain, we're not going to be making money as publishers and affiliates. So at the end of the day, you have to give somebody value. And so commerce is where that value is being created, but search is not a great experience for commerce. So the fundamental issue in this whole industry is we all speak with, DSPs, SSPs, display exchanges, search exchanges, data providers, each other. Look at this conference. There's 6,000 people talking to each other about how do we make a better business. And the big entity that this entire industry doesn't focus on is the elephant in the room, which is the consumer. So, in our minds, the essential starting point for coming up with a great solution is what's actually good for the consumer, something that very few people in the ad industry spend time thinking about. And the reason why that's a critical issue is there is a dramatic difference in advertising between going from offline to online. And all of these are fairly evident, but it's useful to dwell on that, to think about that for a second. So in the offline world, the consumer has no control. You put an ad up on a billboard, you put an ad on TV, maybe they'll go get, refresh their drinks or their chips. But basically the consumer is not in control. The huge difference is that in online, the consumer is 100% in charge. It's a fundamentally different interaction. Again, something we inherently, intuitively know, but it changes everything. So What does it change? In the offline world, you couldn't turn on an ad blocker. But in the online world, as you all probably track, ad blocking grew by 41% in the last 12 months. So the consumer is empowered, and they are exercising their power. And there are now close to 200 million active ad block users around the world. So again, the foundation on which we're all as an industry building our monetization, building our value, is crumbling because the user is now much more empowered. And we have, for instance, duels in our office about who can X out the ad fastest, a pre-roll ad fastest before you have to watch a video. Essentially, it's very, very hard to make an industry work and succeed when the core foundation, which is the core service to the end user, is so bad. So again, dramatic problems with the industry as it currently stands that are really calling for a solution. It's like, what is the answer? If the experience is so bad, if the monetization is so bad, what is the answer? So the key to optimizing the user experience in our analysis is to listen, not talk. Too much of the ad industry is about talking to the consumer. We're putting messages out there, putting ads out there that we think the consumer is going to like. After all, there are billions of dollars spent in trying to get that right. But what we find is for 0.06% CTR. So that model of talking to the consumer just isn't working. So the key to getting user experience right is, rather than talking to the consumer, is to listen to the consumer. So in other words, the nugget of how to make this a better system, a better solution for the entire industry, for all of us, is instead of starting by, here's what I want to push, and I'm going to impose it on my readers, my users, it's more starting with, what is the user wanting to do? Why are they on your site? And what is the value, what is the service that you can give them? And as I'll show you in a minute, when we're able to do this, the results are dramatic. They're off the charts, off the scale, compared to anything any of us sees in traditional advertising. So this essential theme that, the way to win is to serve the user, not abuse the user, is integral to dramatically better monetization. So the interesting thing is, every day, the user is putting out billions of commerce signals. And by commerce, I'll show you some examples of commerce signals in a second. But the consumer is engaging. Across the internet, across mobile, the consumer is doing things. The consumer is asking for things. But nobody's listening because everybody's too busy talking. That's basically what our industry has become. And so the key is, there are all these signals out there. If they can be harnessed, not only can we provide much better service to the user, but we can actually monetize dramatically higher. And by dramatically, I don't mean 10, 20, 30% higher. I mean 10 to 50 to 100 times higher. So it's a dramatically better result because now we're talking about commerce, not ads. So what are some examples of commerce signals that are currently unharvested? So for instance, here are just a couple of sites that many of you probably use. One is Expedia, one is AutoTrader. So when you go to Expedia, go to any travel site, and you search for a flight or a hotel with a certain number of passengers, your check-in dates, your check-out dates. All of that information is extremely valuable on the internet. Now, what happens when you do the search? You go search on Expedia, then you go search on Priceline and Kayak and 3 other sites, and then all of those searches, all of that information is wasted. So we all spend as an industry so much time trying to understand what's your demographic, where do you live, what's your education level, what's your income level. All of the things that contribute to less than 20% of somebody's decision. But the most valuable information, which is, where are you trying to go? What is the service you need, is wasted. The example for cars, the counterpart, is, let's say you're searching for cars to buy. And you provide all of this beautiful, rich information that here's my year, make, model, zip code, budget, all of the information you provide on a search box. What happens after you're done with the search? All that information is wasted. Nobody did anything with that information. So now you have to go back to the internet, and again you have to provide that information, right? And if, on the other hand, you could harness that information, that is the most valuable thing to be doing for this user at that point in time. And that is the data that is currently wasted. Other examples are commerce signals. So, and some of these, I'm sure are things that you all do on a regular basis. You go to Amazon, you're shopping for products, in this case, cameras. And it says, here's my wonderful listing of cameras. And then you have these filters on the left where you can say, how many megapixels do you want? What brand do you want? What memory size? Like all of this information, all the filters you set on the left. What happens after you leave the browser? Nothing. All of that information is wasted. And if you could harness that information and transmit it to somebody who can use it, you'd be serving that user dramatically better because they wouldn't have to retype, refilter, research. But also you'd be monetizing it much better because that information is worth billions of dollars to the right merchants. It's just not getting there. So to use another example, I think this is the Macy's site. You go to Macy's, you're shopping for dresses, and you pick your filters. You say, here's my color, here's my length, my style. What happens after that? Nothing. All that data is lost. So the point here is that information on the internet has been connected. Search engines do that. If you say, how long is the Great Wall of China? There are 800 sites that'll tell you that, right? And Google can find those very efficiently for you. People have been connected on the internet. You want to find a person? Facebook can help you find them. LinkedIn can help you find them. Commerce, which is the money end of the spectrum, is not connected. Commerce, where all the money for everything on digital media comes, is in silos. So today there are about 12 million e-commerce sites on the internet. And they're all their own walled garden. They're all their own silo. So this most valuable information that the user is providing again and again and again and again is wasted. So the key to dramatically expanding and growing monetization is to harness and use the most valuable information on the internet, which is what is each individual user wanting to buy. So this is what we term as the beginning of networked commerce. And so I was just making the point that information on the internet is connected, people are connected, commerce is in silos. And so what we mean by network commerce is the connection of site to site to site on the axis of commerce signals or commerce parameters. So in other words, if the user inputs some information for something they're looking for, if we can harness that and then share that, provide that to advertisers or merchants who can use it, then we're turning the entire internet into one networked commerce funnel. So right now the internet is 12 million individual siloed sales funnels. And network commerce means if we can connect the commerce signals, the entire internet becomes one conversion funnel for whatever it is. Like for you, it might be shoes, for you, it might be trips, for you, it might be dresses, for you, it might be trips. But whatever it is you're searching for, the connectivity delivers a huge amount of value. In a second, I'll show you what it means as an affiliate, for instance, to take advantage of network commerce. But this whole theme of connecting commerce is where we're seeing huge amounts of monetization and revenue being produced. So let's just walk through a sample example. Like what would the ideal shopping experience be like if any of you are, let's say you operate an affiliate site, you take advantage of all of the usual affiliate things that are available and affiliate networks and Google AdSense and banner ads, et cetera, et cetera. What would this mean? What would this look like for your property? So let's say you have a site. It could be a blog, could be any kind of affiliate site, any kind of publisher site. And you have articles on spring fashion or summer clothing or summer vacations. And in your articles, in your content, you have a picture, let's say, of somebody using a certain kind of product. In this case, white shorts. So let's say if the user sees that on your site, right now the user says, oh yeah, cool site, and then there's some banner ad that's going to be clicking at 0.06% or some Google ads, and you kind of lose the interest of the user. So instead, what you could do is say, I know you're looking at this, and I see this thing that I want, that I just like, right? So at that moment of interest, at that moment of, yeah, this looks interesting, and many blogs, for instance, are really, really specific. They have a high kind of passion in terms of audience following, et cetera. So, if your article triggers an interest, what you're now able to do is essentially present, and some of this is a little faint, you can't see it very well, but essentially contextual offers directly related to that thing that your article is about or your page is about. And right now, all of this content recommendations, sponsored content kinds of things like you saw on that South Park episode are really, essentially continuing to stay in the content realm. At some point, you have to go from content to monetization, and right now the only tools are available are basically display ads, search ads, et cetera, video ads. But here, what the model that this is developing is to say that, okay, I see something that I find interesting. You can immediately transition from there to commerce, to transaction, for things directly related to what's in your article. And so rather than, okay, here's a great article, now I'm going to go off to Amazon to shop, or I see a great article, now I'm going to go to Google to shop, right there from your affiliate site, you can transition down the path of commerce, which is where the richest monetization happens. I'll share some monetization numbers with you all in just a second. So what this is achieving, network commerce is achieving, is a dramatic expansion of the pie. So in other words, if your site's total monetization capability is $100,000 a month, this is converting that into $300,000, $500,000, $800,000 a month. So it's a dramatic expansion of the pie itself because the units are serving more direct value to the consumer. So users win, so your users, people who are coming to your sites win, because they're getting a direct path to commerce related to content. So this isn't just, if the article is about dresses for the summer, you aren't going to get a credit card ad or a credit loan ad or a banner for a car. You'll get offers for the thing that your article is about or your picture is about. So users find much more alignment. There's no ad blocking issues. None of the users aren't blocking commerce. They're blocking ads because they're irrelevant. They're not blocking commerce because it's relevant and it's of value, it's a service. Advertisers, so if you're an advertiser in the room, you're going to win. If you're an affiliate, your advertiser is going to win because now you're driving deep linked clicks from active shoppers. So these commerce units, they don't just generate clicks to Expedia.com or to Zillow.com, or to Amazon.com. They generate clicks to the conversion page, the checkout page of each of these sites. They're deep link clicks. And they're coming from active shoppers. If the user saw an article or a picture on white shorts and they want to buy one, it's an active, engaged shopper. It's not a disengaged, accidental clicker on an ad. So the advertisers are seeing much, much higher ROIs and ROAS by using commerce as opposed to ads. And if those two things are happening, publishers are winning in a big way. So one, publishers are able to get much higher monetization. So as an affiliate, you can get significantly higher monetization by using commerce as opposed to ads. And the user experience is much better. So if you're concerned about, I'm degenerating my site, I'm loading it up with ads, and my users are unhappy, they're blocking ads, all of those issues, well, now you're actually delivering a much better user experience. So some of the biggest sites on the internet are beginning to take advantage of commerce, not ads. So examples are if you go to sites like, Expedia, Travelocity, Amazon, might have heard that 5 of the top 10 retailers take advantage of third-party products. Amazon product listing ads are examples of, essentially commerce ads. So the point here is that, the way to expand the pie dramatically for the whole industry is to use commerce, not ads. And it's a very aligning thing because all three constituents, users, remember the elephant in the room, advertisers, and publishers, all win very big by taking advantage of commerce. So the proof is in the pudding. So again, I was mentioning that, in terms of early, test data, test results, et cetera, and some of these, have been consistent for months, over a year. These are the kinds of performance numbers that commerce is able to get. So again, put this in perspective. Click-through rates, there are units that click through more than 100%. Because commerce, essentially there are units for commerce that can search a whole marketplace in one click. And each search is a paid event. So commerce units, in a world where the average banner is clicking through at 0.06%, so no matter whose campaign you're running and what optimization you're doing, 0.06% can only do so much. And if you're able to get 100%, 200% CTR, you're talking about dramatically higher levels of monetization. eCPM, if you're running affiliate sites, you probably know that eCPM for display is single digits, probably low single digits. CPM for search is maybe mid to high single digits. Well, now you're able to get monetization in those kinds of ranges. So as you can see, dramatically improved monetization for the exact same traffic they're getting. So you're getting much better user experience, but you're getting a dramatically better monetization from your same traffic. And then other things about commerce is if you were going to build commerce yourself from scratch, it's a significant undertaking, as I'm sure many of you know. It could take weeks, months, maybe even over a year to build good quality commerce. But there are solutions out there that can now do it much, much faster, as in minutes or hours. So essentially, if you're an affiliate, whatever content your property, your site is about, you can basically get commerce units for that same category, for those same genres that you're covering in your site. So it's very contextual, but the user experience and the performance numbers are just dramatic. So this, in our view and in our experience now with many partners we work with, is a game changer for affiliates. So compared to the entire business model that the affiliate world's been working with, this is a different price performance from the standard affiliate price performance curve. Meaning, now you can create far more value from your property, and as an advertiser, you can get far better returns from affiliates than what you're used to by using commerce. So for affiliates, it enables the ability to create any kind of content you'd like. Of course, that's what many affiliates do, is they create interesting, engaging content for their audiences. So, it's not like, I got a banner ad from, Ford. So now I got to create a bunch of content on like cars or like Ford's newest cars. This is, you can write content on whatever it is that you want to write content on and whatever it is your audience wants to consume. Because there is a commerce unit for every category of content. So you can create whatever content you want. You can enhance your content with commerce within minutes or hours. It doesn't take weeks, months, or years. So whatever it is that your affiliate site is about, there are commerce units out there. There are matching advertisers that want to take the interest that your site is developing in your audience and translate it towards commerce, which is where the richest monetization comes from. And again, the monetization results, as I've been mentioning, are dramatically higher. It's 10 times or more higher than display or search ads. So that's the message really from us is, with all of the things that all of us are trying to do to make affiliate sites work better, the affiliate model work better, affiliate networks work better, the really, really exciting development is that now we have the opportunity to use commerce in place of ads and deliver much better user experiences and much better monetization for both publishers and for advertisers. So that's really the sort of the theme of what we're here to talk about is network commerce is a very powerful phenomenon that is just beginning to roll out on the internet. And one particular use case of network commerce is when you combine it with native placement. So, you all are probably already experimenting with native content, sponsored content, et cetera, and there are native content networks out there. The challenge with that is, at the end of the day, sponsored content is still needing to monetize via ads. And so what we found is that by combining native inventory with commerce, not content, is producing dramatic results, some of the kinds of numbers that I've been sharing with you. And any affiliate can take advantage of this, the power of this kind of monetization to dramatically change the game. So that's sort of the prepared part of the conversation. But I want to make sure we had time for questions or other kind of discussion points that anybody in the group here would like to make. So questions or follow-up questions on what we've covered? Or too late in the conference to to be doing any serious amount of thinking? Okay, well, if we don't have any questions, we can wrap up. But thank you all for being here, and hopefully we'll see you down this path of network commerce in the next few months. Thank you for coming.